nastiest creatures on God's green earth. I mean, they're useful, yes, but they spit, they bite, they're ill-tempered. If they weren't so useful in crossing the desert, people would have figured out how to make sandwiches out of them. Out of spite.
But we have to keep in mind that donkeys are the same way, and we put up with them too. So it's,
We put up with animals that are useful to our environment. We don't care about the animals themselves. And I feel like a lot more people should be worrying about that, because one day they're all just going to be gone and human population is going to die off. And that is not what we need to do.
Okay, and I see your point. And no animal should be mistreated. I'm with you on that point. But I'm just saying, if you're wrestling a camel, why? How are you going to take this multi-ton beast off of its feet?
Yeah, even if you are wrestling an animal, that is really difficult to take down. Because as a human yourself, you are not supposed to be able to lift up this type of animal.
No, you definitely could not lift a camel.
Lift a camel, or you're not supposed to beat nature up either. Because
and if the camels are wrestling each other, no.
That would not work. Put them in the wrong space for too long, they'll start mating.
No.
Unless they're 2 male camels or 2 female camels.
I don't think camels care. But it doesn't matter. The point is, no. Let's not make camel fighting a thing.
I just don't want any animals fighting each other, or any humans fighting animals, or allowing their animals to fight animals. Mm-hmm. Any abuse in any sort of range, I know there's all types, but it's not acceptable.
Maybe camel wrestling, maybe, and this is the only way I'd approve of it, is if 2 people are wrestling, and then the camel is there as kind of like a referee and kind of like an obstacle. Like it can bite one of them, and they can't really do anything about it. Like they're wrestling each other, and the camel goes, ah, chomps on one of them, and the guy goes, ah, and the other one goes, ah, I win. Like, I'd approve of it in that case, but I don't think it's that.
We should probably move on to the fact.
This is why you never had a wrestling career take off. You know that, right? In fact, you should apologize to Mick Foley now for these terrible crap ideas that you're spouting, given the fact that once upon a time, he thought you were a decent dude. We're sorry.
I'm not spouting it.
Okay,
the ambiguous phrase camel wrestling hove into view. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it, because none of the things it presents are good to me. And the only way you make that good is if it's a thing about people wrestling, and then the camels basically watch and sort of vote by, occasionally spitting on someone or biting them. Still kind of gross, but at least it's not cruel to the camel.
We should probably move on to the fact itself before we go on to a loop of this almost 2 hour episode. Anyway, so every year the Sukuk.
Let me see. I can't figure it out by what you're calling it. Selçuk Efes Camel Wrestling Festival.
Okay. Established by Turkic? Oh yeah. Turkic tribes more than 2,000 years ago. Takes place in Turkey's southern Aegean coast. The fighting camels adorned with creative rugs, bells, and saddles often come from Iran and not Afghanistan. So they fight each other. The camels fight each other.
So, like fighting dogs or something, which is still pretty cruel.
That's definitely cruel. As I was saying, the reason why I put up that trigger warning is because of that reason. I figured that it'd be something like that.
And see, I don't like the idea of animals fighting each other. I
think it's terrible. In fact, the other day I was on a social media site. I'm not going to state it because I don't want people going after the site itself, because it's not the site's fault, it's the creator's fault, and they should have not put that animal at fault. But their dog was ripping a golden retriever apart, and the owner was just letting it do that. So that's why I wanted to put that trigger warning up, because I know some people are much like me, as where if they see or hear anything about it, they will have feelings that they don't want to have.
I have feelings I don't want to have, and I don't like camels. It feels weird to be on their side.
Anyway, fact number 3. Santa
We're
Claus...
only on fact number 3?
With how long he was talking about that camel thing.
Okay, alright, go ahead. My bad, sorry.
Santa Claus was born in Turkey. Santa Claus, or more precisely known as Saint Nicholas,
we've talked about him before, right?
a Christian saint.
Among other things, yes.
I'm glad I talked over that, because this is a PG-12 show.
Sorry.
Mom.
Sorry. That's my favorite Santa fact now. I can't help myself.
A Christian saint and Greek bishop of Myra was born in Patara, Lycia, or what is now known as Dimre in Turkey. Also, the Virgin Mary's final resting place is thought to be somewhere near.
Thought to be somewhere.
What? How did you know that?
Just because is so I just figured you missed the T.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Is thought to be somewhere near Ephesus.
Cool. Yes, more facts like these. Less facts like camel wrestling.
Yes. Like these guys. These are good guys. You're great.
Number 4. One of the Mediterranean's main sea turtle nesting branches is in Turkey.
Aww.
Located near the tourist summer hotspot, Fethai.
Okay.
Izutsu Beach is one of the most important breeding grounds for the logger-headed turtle every year. The endangered turtles arrive between May and October to lay their eggs on the protected shore.
Aww.
Fact number 5.
Number 5, here it is. Number 5.
And there, sadly, is no +1 today.
Aww.
That's okay.
Tunnel is the world's second oldest underground railway. On January 17th, 1875, the tunnel underground funicular?
Spell it.
Funicular.
Funicular.
That sounds right.
Began to operate. Sorry.
You're
I know that word, I just... becoming the world's second underground railway after the London Underground tunnel continues to run between Beoglu and Karakoy,
Okay.
and is one of the oldest surviving rail lines in Europe. I would not trust it if it was that old. Just my opinion, though.
But they've maintained those things. I mean, Europe has done a better job of maintaining its railways than America has in a lot of ways. Because they still do a lot of surface traveling on the continent, and a lot of it's done by rail.
True enough. Okay. Great facts, Krysta. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Krysta. Oh, wait. We got to do the thing.
Here's the thing. Woohoo!
There we go. Had to do some claps.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I get into this,
Uh-huh.
you two should look up images for Gobekli Tepe.
Should we?
You should. This place, what they've uncovered of it is amazing. And the art that is on some of these pillars, you have to see to appreciate.
Despite the fact that it's named after a navel.
Despite the fact it's named after a navel, yes. And I can spell it for you to make it easier to look up, but I just think...
No. I'm good.
Gobekli.
I got it.
But if you do a Google image search, you will get some of these pillars, and they are just amazing. So let's start with, what is Gobekli Tepe? Well, we don't know for sure. The current theory is that it was a place of worship for hunter-gatherers that would meet there several times a year. As of now, they have found nothing that suggests a permanent resident of any kind. Nothing that suggests like it was a place of where people lived.
So they just think that this was this gigantic city in the desert that just was there for no reason?
Well, they think it was a place of worship.
Like temples and like...
What? More like a place to gather and worship spirits of nature.
Mm,
And if you look at some of these pillars, I mean...
That's a lot of assumption.
It is, but... Again, at this point, they have found all these pillars that, by the way, we need to point out, someone buried all this. Like, this is what didn't just get buried with time. Someone specifically covered this up.
Or at least that's what they think.
And, again, there's so much we don't know. For example, I always thought it was understood that humans stopped being hunter-gatherers once they figured out farming. Because farming let them stay in the same place and still have food. But they don't know that. They don't know if farming caused us to stop, or if because we stopped, we started farming. So with even simple questions like that they don't have answers to, it's hard to say what this place was for.
Gotcha.
All we have is the site itself. And the site itself, what they've uncovered is massive. There are at least 6 different enclosures they found at different levels. And again, they're still uncovering this now. And
it was discovered in the 1960s.
It was discovered in 1994.
Okay.
It was discovered in 1994 by a Turkish shepherd. Literally the way I described it. He found a rock. He started to dig up the rock because he was just going to get it out of the pasture.
1963 is what my information says.